Good afternoon and welcome to Road Gateway Rotary Club. All right, Cindy, would you like to come up and lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Margaret Bradford, I think you have an inspiration for us today.
We're gonna do the hokey pokey, so stand up. Hokey pokey.
Okey pokey.
Starting with your right hand in. Right hand up. Put your right hand
And then you put your right hand out, you put your right hand in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. You put your left hand in, you put your left hand out, you put your left hand in, and you shake it all about. You do the hokey pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about.
things up a little.
Thank you, Margaret. This is why we're the fun club. All right, we have a full house today. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I don't see any, let's see here. I'm looking for visitors. Or Bev, you have a visitor. Well, all right, welcome to Susan Bonison. Welcome up. Any other guests in the room? We've got some guest speakers here who we'll introduce in a little bit. On Zoom, I know we also have our Student Above Self Award winner who we will introduce in a moment as well. But it looks like the rest of it is just us. Nice to see everyone. Okay, announcements. Doug, I know, has a couple. While he's coming up, I'm going to give everyone an update from Diane Hoover on the Fork Project. And for those of you who don't know, this is the project that all 4 Rotary clubs have partnered together to provide food for students in our local schools. And so the impact to date that we have had, both school districts participated and gave out 16,256 individual food items to 524 kids. We also put together 600 full-size brown paper bags at the Josephine County Food Bank to go home with kiddos before the Christmas and spring break. So it's been a great success. Thank you to everyone who has volunteered to make this project successful. And if you want to be part of the project and give a leg up for next year's work, you can make donations. We have a fund at the Redwood Education Fund for the Fork Project. And so if you're looking for information on how to make a donation to that project, just reach out to one of us. All right, Doug.
So Patty and I are here because
we're cute.
because we're cute. We are sweethearts here. And she wanted to read her shirt out. I wanted people to see her shirt is what she wanted. So some of you says, let that shit go. What's it?
Yes, let that shit go.
Let that shit go, it says. It's got a little somebody on Zen. So anyway, some of you had the tremendous pleasure of being at the Trashy Awards a few weeks ago. And we need to finish off and give out our last award to the award winner from that. And the last award goes to.
Well, what was she awarded for?
I don't remember.
Oh,
We've got to
me
make
too.
something up. Make something up. Great, you're on the box.
Because she's really trashy?
She's trashy.
She
Yeah,
could be
could be
trashy.
trashy. Yeah.
But she's a fun gal.
Yeah. Oh, you know
Okay.
what it was? It was being the one most willing to go in the weeds and
A
get into the
weed
weeds.
wacky woman.
She went further into the weeds than any of us out there picking up trash on the day we pick up trash on the Parkway. So Valerie, that is you. Come up here. And the other thing Valerie deserves credit for is she just had her knee replacement. She was out there hobbling along, working at that. And she also took over for Josie, who couldn't make it at the last minute. So she gets credit for all of those things. Thank you, Val. You're welcome. It's sharp, it's sharp.
It's,
Thank you, Val. And that was painted by Leonora.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That was gorgeous. Yeah, okay, thank you. I got a couple more announcements. Go ahead.
Same time next year, kids, we're trashing again.
Right. Trashing again. Okay, so that's the Valerie announcement. The second announcement is, so we have as a club been exploring the idea of painting a mural on a building, and Bela introduced us, me and he, to the people that own the Glass Forge, and they have a very large blank side of the building. And so they are optimistic and they like the idea of putting a mural there. So we're going to work towards getting some designs. And one of the things that is really exciting that I like about it is we're going to try to put a little 3D elements in it, some things that sort of come out away from the building, give it a little extra pizzazz, like some metal flowers or something like that, plus incorporate that with some of their glass work. So that's one of the ideas. So we're looking at something like the end of fall or sometime in fall doing that painting. The big issue is that building's 100 feet long. It's flipping huge. So I'm scaling that out to start to give us a drawing to start putting sketches on, and it's like this damn wide on paper. So anyway, it's a lot of mural. The third announcement, that's coming, be aware. Hopefully you got your paintbrushes and your artists. The next announcement I have is the Mid-Road Foundation, which is works on housing issues here in town. And we built Foundry, and we're going to be building the Glencrest Veterans Village in about 2 years. We've gotten a grant from All Care Health and options to buy a large house, 6-bedroom house, and it's going to be a roommate situation for seniors that are disadvantaged. So we have an empty 6-bedroom house we need to furnish. Hey, all of you, if anybody's got some furniture, beds, bedroom sets, dressers, couches, stuff, let me know. We're going to start to make a list of what we need. Get back to me. We'll put it on a list, and we need furniture stuff. So just so you know, anything we can get. That's it.
Okay, I've always liked to do these presentations here, so I'd like to have Don Welsh and Judy Basker come up, please. Okay,
A team.
no checks. I know you're good at getting checks, so that's really good. So anyway, on behalf of the Rotary Foundation, it gives me great pleasure to print first to Judith here a Paul Harris +5. That's got a 5 blue stones on here. Thank you for supporting the foundation.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Brian.
And not to be outdone, we have Don Welch as Paul Harris +6. You only get 1 stone, but it's a something like that. You know, so there you go. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Pictures.
Pictures.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Forgot about this part. Okay.
Okay, I got it.
All right.
Two quick little announcements. One, there's a card going around for Lisa Looney, who had knee surgery this morning. So please sign it and I'll get it to her. And then the other thing is, if anybody would like to walk tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, meet in the parking lot at the Reinhardt Volunteer Park, the one that's over by the baseball stadium. Yeah, not the fields, but the baseball stadiums. So 9 o'clock, and we walk about 3 miles. Hope you can make it.
All right, any other announcements from the room? How about on Zoom? I don't see anybody. All right, well then, Margaret, now that I've had you sit down again, would you like to come up and introduce our Service Above Self Award?
So Lisa asked me to do this in her stead, and you may have seen in the newsletter, Lisa's been doing this for a long time, and I just really want to shout out to her for her that she does a lot of work contacting the schools and getting this all lined up and the folks that donate. So today, we have with us Sydney Kroom. Is that the right way to say her last name? Yes, okay, great. And Sydney is the daughter of Steve and Nina Kroom, and she attends New Hope Christian School. She's 18 in grade 12, and we're going to hear from one of her teachers, Natalie Rebel, and then we're going to hear from Sydney herself. So please welcome both.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for having us today at your meeting. We really appreciate it. And the things that you are all doing in the community, we're just sitting here while you were announcing your Forks program and your mural and everything. We were just very impressed. So thank you for all of your hard work. I would just like to introduce Sydney to you. My name is Natalie. I'm from New Hope Christian School. And I just want to throw a couple things out there so you get a picture of her from our perspective as adults. Sydney is dedicated to service above and beyond many other students that I have ever had. And I've been here for about 20 something years. I'll just throw that out there. And she has, over the time in her high school career, just tackled a boatload of things. So I'm just gonna read through the list and then tell you a little bit about her attitude when she does so. So she's been in student government her entire time in high school. She's been class representative. She's been a missions coordinator, and she's currently class president. She had some involvement when we had FBLA going here, where she worked with that. She did some engagement with FBLA conferences and also the testing that they do, and she did very well in that. She's committed to academics. Her GPA is much higher than a 4.0, and she's been on the principal's list throughout her high school career. She's been named one of our outstanding scholars. She's also been the recipient of our Warrior Award, which is one of our highest awards that we give to one student per grade per year. And it's an award for being one who demonstrates the spirit of a Christ-like warrior and upholds the values of the school community. So she's an excellent example to her fellow classmates and to the underclassmen. She's devoted to athletics, volleyball. She's been team captain, but she's not all about getting the glory for team captain. She just encourages her fellow teammates. She helps them be better on the court. And she is just a joy to watch play. She is also a dancer committed to ballet, which is quite the discipline in and of itself. She mentors freshmen, a group of freshman girls, and she goes above and beyond the suggested mentoring time, meeting with them outside of that, all throughout the school year. She's just blessed them so much and they love her. Not to mention her service at the hospital. I could just keep going and going, but I know you have other things to do. And you probably want to hear more from Sydney than you do from me. So I just want to say she's made our school and our surrounding community a better place to be. She serves in the classroom, outside of the classroom, in the area, and in areas beyond just Grants Pass. She's one of the most dedicated and driven students, but she's also one of the kindest I have ever had. So she never runs over people. She's always lifting people up. That is her goal. She overflows with love for her fellow students, for her school, and for all those she comes into contact with. I just want to thank you for allowing us to nominate her and for your honoring of her in all that she's done, for your great prizes, which I'm going to give to her afterwards. She wanted to wait. She's that kind of person. I want to wait until after. And yes, so with that, I'm going to introduce her to you now. So here is Sydney Kroom.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for that introduction. So my name is Sydney Kroom, and first of all, thank you all so much for this opportunity and for this special award. I'm truly honored. and so very thankful that I was blessed with this award and the recognition. I appreciate it a lot. So I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself and the service that I'm currently involved in. So I'm a senior at New Hope Christian School, as previously mentioned, and I've been a student here for about 10 years. And I served in my school student government for 6 years now, where I currently serve as the high school student body president. And I've done ballet for 14 years, and I serve on my dance studio's youth leadership council. So in that, we just I help plan events where our younger dancers and students can get involved and feel more connected. Excuse me. A recent service project I've really been enjoying is volunteering at Asante Three Rivers Medical Center in Grants Pass. I was in the X-ray department for a few months, and now I'm in the rehabilitation physical therapy department. Service is a huge part of my life right now, and I'm especially thankful for that because of how altered and the lack of opportunities I had during COVID. When the pandemic ended, a lot of wonderful doors opened up, and I was able to reach out to so many more people in the community. Service is really important to me because I know how blessed I am in my life, and I love getting to give back to the people in the community that have given me so much and shaped me into who I am today. I was born in Medford and raised locally, so the people of the Rogue Valley hold a very special place in my heart. I've always felt safe, very well taken care of, and have been treated kindly by nearly all perfect strangers in this area. I've had countless school, church, and extracurricular activity opportunities over the years, and I know that that's a special blessing that not everyone has. As an 18-year-old, I feel like many people my age and younger seem to have lost their zeal and desire for service, which is very sad. My generation often takes for granted the countless blessings we enjoy every single day, and it's sad that the people who give us so much go unnoticed so often. I want to help shift the mindset of people my age to be more inclined to want to serve, not because they have to, but because they have joy and appreciation while doing it. That's something I've tried to instill into some younger girls I'm currently mentoring, and it's something that was discussed and modeled for me throughout my childhood. My parents are very selfless people who love giving back to others in multiple ways, and my instructors at school and ballet hold those same values as well. They've all taught me how to be gracious and servant-hearted. I've gained so much knowledge about how to live a life honoring to God and others through service. I want to treat others with the same compassion and kindness that I receive so very often. One thing I've learned is that service doesn't have to be super extravagant or very outwardly showy at all. Simply smiling at someone and being kind to them is an act of service because you never know how badly someone could need it. As I'm now preparing to graduate and go out into the world and enter the workforce, the lessons I've learned about service are even more important. The people in my life have prepared me well, and I feel that I am more than ready to serve others with a loving heart and make a positive impact in my community. I want to thank you all again so much for the hard work that you do for offering such a special opportunity as this. I'm so honored and grateful to be chosen for the Service Above Self Award, and I will do my utmost best to exemplify all the qualities of this award for many years to come. Thank you all.
So Sydney, Lisa Looney asked me to tell you folks a little bit about the prizes that you're winning. It's about $600 or so in cash and gift cards and gifts. And the gifts were given by the club itself. And then Jody McDonald from Banner Bank. And that's included in the Road Gateway check. And then John Jones, Century 21, Steve Rowe, Rowe Motors, Tommy Drake, Debbie Brownell, Sally Snyder, Doug Walker, Deb Amin, Don Welch, Carla Robertson, Wynn Howard, Greg Fishwick, and Margaret Bradford, and then Gina Maria Agosta and Dave Matthews. All those folks have pulled their resources and given you a whole bunch of nice things to take home. And we're just really pleased to be able to recognize the work that you've done in your school and in the community. So I want to thank Lisa Looney for being in charge of this year and for all the other years she's done. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I was going to say, questions for Sydney? Yes, what are your future plans, Sydney?
So I'm planning on staying local in the Rogue Valley, and I'm gonna attend cosmetology school in Medford. And then work towards owning my own business one day in hair. So, yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Anyone else? What did she say? For those who couldn't hear in the back, she is going to be staying local, going to cosmetology school in Medford, and hopes to own her own business one day. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, thank you again, Sydney. Wonderful job.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. And we will try to stay very close to the mic. If you're using the microphone, almost kiss it. Okay. All right. Mwah. Okay. Jenny is going to introduce our speakers today, and we're very lucky to have a whole panel of them.
Hi, everybody. I don't need to kiss the mic. You can probably hear me without it. I'm really excited to be able to introduce you to our guests that we have here today. We have a wonderful family who's come forward to share their story and their testimony. They come to us from the Equity Project of Josephine County. And today we're going to be hearing from Leslie, Stacy, and Haley Keller. And I just want to extend gratitude from myself as well as our club for being here and sharing your stories. We may have a video for you depending on how much time we have here, but I'm going to turn it over to them and so you can hear their stories and then we'll watch that video and then we should have a little bit of time at the end for questions. So without much further ado, apparently you need to kiss the microphone. Nice, nice. Well, and this to identify, this is Leslie, and this is Stacy, and this is Haley. All ladies of the Keller family. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for allowing us to be here and share the story that is very personal and difficult to be in front of a bunch of people. So we get us all very sick. It's our first time doing it. So the project is meant to show the other side of what's really going on out there, people who are houseless. In our case, we had lived in our apartment for 6 years, and we had complained about black mold in our house. Our landlord didn't want to do anything about it, so her answer was to get us into a cause eviction, and that was before you couldn't get in a cause eviction. That happened in years. So we found ourselves to have to go. And it took us a year and a half to get back on our feet. And some of the things we went through were just crazy. We went to try to find resources. I was too sober. I was too living. They don't have it. The resources are kind of limited for people with a physical disability or people who are sober and dependent on their effects. So we had a very hard time getting on our feet. And these are my children. They were much younger when this happened. And today we're going to let you hear their perspective of how that was to be homeless for that long.
Hi, everyone. Like my mom said, we were homeless at one point due to unfortunate circumstances. It was really difficult. It was hard to hold down a job. I suffered with anxiety and depression, and it made life really difficult for me. I lost all of my friends. They stopped talking to me because I was homeless, even though I didn't change the person, my circumstances did. So that became really difficult. I did have a significant other at the time who lived with his parents, but I was not allowed to stay there. I ended up pregnant while we were homeless, and there wasn't any resources for me being homeless. They're like, you need to have a job. I got a job. I didn't make enough money to have a place on my own. I was 36 weeks pregnant before we finally found a place to live, and that entire pregnancy was incredibly stressful. I'm lucky that I didn't have any complications. He's a nice, healthy 3-year-old, super cute. But that whole time, there wasn't any help for us. everyone looked down on us. We got yelled at all the time. The cops came and talked to us because people complained. We had to move from motel to motel because my mom couldn't, sleep in a tent on the side of the road in a car. So it was really difficult, and we had our animals with us, so we'd sit on the side of the road and the hotel would take us out with all of our stuff, trying to make enough money to get to a different hotel. And the hotel workers, most of them were mean to us, and it just was not a good situation. So we finally got a place, and then after that, I got my own place. I have 3 children now, actually. And I'm going to college, and I was able to turn my life around, but a lot of other people struggled. If I wasn't with my parents and the rest of my family, I don't know what would have happened, because being by myself would not have worked. I wouldn't have made enough money to rent my own place, and I was on a wait list for low-income housing for 3 years before they called me saying that I was at the top. So, yeah, there's just not enough resources out there to help people who actually need it and want it and are trying to get there, because like my mom said, we were too sober. We were not able to get the help that we needed, and that really needs to change. And plus, we didn't even know what resources were out there. A lot of them are hidden. You have to find the right person, who then sends you to a different person, who then says, we have to go back to the first person, and you just get going round and round in circles before you finally find what might actually help. So I'm hoping that as we share our stories, people will hear it and maybe try to make a difference in how we can find the resources to get the help that we need, so that there are less people that are homeless. And now I'll pass it on to my sister. So my perspective is a little bit different, because I was 16 when this all happened. I was a junior in high school. And I almost failed my junior year because of it. When we lost our house, we ended up having to live in Europe for like 2 weeks, and I couldn't go to school because I couldn't make it. And I ended up failing 5 out of the 7 of my classes that year. So then my best friend's mom actually allowed me to live with her until we found a place after it for safety. And if it wasn't for them, I probably wouldn't have done it next year. I managed to make up all those classes next year. I got to graduate high school with all of my friends. But if it wasn't for people not knowing, I wouldn't have graduated. I would have probably been in a low health and all the time, and I wouldn't have gone to school. It was too stressful. I couldn't focus on school and deal with the stuff that was going on at home. And it still hurts, and still, obviously, it affects me to the same, because it's so difficult just to do everyday life. And once we finally got through it all, I will say I'm so happier now that we have a place that we can still be together. Because even though I had a roof over my head, I didn't have the other emotional necessary things to live my life. I didn't have my parents for almost 2 years. Because I see them sometimes, but my job is to focus on school. I didn't get my family.
I will say on that to the story, the reason we are no longer homeless is because after looking for houses and being turned down over and over again, because we had an eviction, I finally found a nice gentleman who owned a duplex and actually sat down with me and heard our story instead of the word eviction and moving on. He allowed us to move in with no money at all. He said, for some reason, I trust you. And he gave me keys to the house until I could work to pay him. And I've been working at housing for the last 4 years since we started. I finally found someone who was willing to hire me. So that is why we are all doing hard today. Grace and finance who kept us afloat when we were trying to keep those bills on the after day. So we just thought if we shared our story that it just might help open people's eyes a little bit, and that there's a lot more going on out there than you realize. And on that note, they can have my question. the program is recorded and they had a meeting at the city of Grants Pass, last night. We got a 3-hour meeting. And if you don't mind us maybe sending your recording to this county commissioners and the city council, if you have one here, it would at least expand on the sure. Thank you. Done?
Try to wrap up here. Thank you. Is there any suggestion you have that action items that can be taken, not necessarily across here, but for different entities? Some of us have influence, but places, others, that might be helpful. Something you experience and say, oh, this would have been helpful if this happened. Sure.
So one of the biggest challenges we faced was when we went to go put in applications for rental, they saw the eviction and said no, they didn't look any further into it. So we're hoping people that, you know, work for rental agencies or even private owners that rent out their apartments, that if they see an eviction, they look a little further rather than just immediately saying, oh, we have it. That literally would have saved us from being homeless at all. If someone had just looked a little further, instead of taking 2 years to find someone to do that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your story. And I think what all of us, and those people that I know, some other people that we're talking about personal lives, we call them just the work. Because we need to kind of get behind, you know, the people that we kind of personal level and make people confident. So before we keep going across for people to actually finally see that, because yeah, I just want to know what was it that finally made that happen. Because I think it's important to puzzle how we make those connections happen. Or it's going to be feeling instead of trying to get on that addiction. I don't know. You know, the housing debate automatically gets you out to our very here. Actually, I found it on Julia. Julia, I just decided it's a real estate like that's something where you can find houses for it. And I was just sitting at Ashland and just started and we were still in the hotel. I was just looking for houses and I was like, I'm just gonna call this one. So honestly, I think it's a miracle.
I don't just assume that entirely in the more extensive, and so the way not being able to find that home that is kind of digging the whole either is not assumption.
So okay. I'd like to ask you about your high school experience. I'm curious to know if you let your counselors know your situation and how helpful. Okay, I think I did that. I heard. Didn't I hear you?
I have a fun story though.
Yeah, I would like to share. So when I was in high school, they did find out that I was homeless, and the only thing that did was cause the school to pull me out of class all the time. That's all they did. I had my basic needs met, and they thought that I needed something that I didn't, and refused to listen to me. When I said I have all of my basic needs met, all I really need is a house. That's the only thing you can have. The school would not listen to me, so they
I told my counselor that I didn't need to be pulled out of class, that I needed to focus on school, and it took, me going into the principal's office and like basically freaking out on him to get him to stop. Because all they thought I needed was like clothes and food. And that was just making me more mad because they weren't. So I think if the high school has a better perspective on listening to their students, and it has been a few years and have new principal, new administration now. But they need to actually listen to their students and listen to what they need to do.
It is a big problem. And there are so many more homeless high school, even middle school students than we realize just by looking in the data.
Probably 900 students a year.
Roughly 900 students a year in those school districts are homeless.
So your message is important and has to be brought up. So, yeah, I think that is right in saying we need to have that. I was just wondering, in addition to having difficulty getting a house. What? I'm talking, I'm kissing it. What other challenges did you face? Transportation issues, issues getting food, issues, pardon me? Medical care, and like that, other issues that were related to being on house.
Thanks to OHG, all of us had a parent. We didn't have that issue. I was just seeing it as I was trying to put them off the bat at the time, which then you know that's not even enough to pay rent, much less anything. But we did have that with them. The other things we faced were transportation was a big issue. The only transportation I had was my chair, and it went faster than my husband walked or my daughter, depending on who. So they would actually stand on the back of the chair. I'm sure some of you have seen me before. And that's how we do it. And you could take the bus depending on where we were going. We at least have access to that. But we didn't always have the money. That was almost a luxury. There were the days that we ate off the dollar and McDonald's because that's what we could afford. Yes, and we would have that one meal a day. We all lost a ton of weight on that actually. So that was a struggle as well. We also didn't have the funds to stay in a hotel. That's all you know, they're really expensive. And we resorted to holding signs asking for help. And a lot of times we were told, you know, go get a job, get off drugs, whatever the case might be. I know all you want is beer, stuff like that, which wasn't true for any of us. But luckily there were many members of the community that without them, we would have been literally. So I will say that there were quite a few people that stepped up and helped with that. We never spent a night outside the hotel, except for the first 2 weeks. That was all because it was February when it happened. Which is why we sent her to the first house. She was actually quite angry with me. Because I just called her friend's mom and I said, hey, she doesn't like this, she can't be here. It's just because we were right, she was go to school. Then I learned much later, a few years later, that she was mad at me for that. That she felt like she would never be home again. And that, you know, it was just another being away from her parents situation, which that's a whole other story that they don't know if I'm going to, but we had a very difficult time just in general in the last 15 years. So that was just the icing on the cake with all the anxiety that my kids had. Okay, just a question.
Don't worry.
I'm not really sure how to even phrase this question.
But what kind of resource could be created so that information or help would be out there that homeless people could become aware of it? Does that make sense? It does in my head. But I don't know. Yeah. So I've been thinking a lot about that, and I think the biggest thing is one space. Because it's hard to get all around town when you're homeless, when you have to rely on the bus or just walking. There's just one space where all of the resources are at, and people can, even if it's just like flyers or something where they're like sitting on the side of the road, you can just go and grab one. Somewhere where all the resources are in one spot. So that it's easy to access and you can, find what you need and then go to that specific place. Where you don't have to run all around town asking 5 different people where to go before you get there. Does that answer your question? How would we make it happen? We make it happen. Yeah, this is a better question. That is a very good question. We obviously don't have all the answers, but we're hoping that someone hears this and starts the conversation, finds someone that maybe has an answer for that. That, we can move forward with it, and we'll be going around to different groups and everything, and hopefully, this is our first time doing this, so hopefully we get a little better at it as we go on.
Wondering, what was the best agency that you worked with, which one was the most useful or helpful to you? You did mention Morgan Healthland with medical, but were there other ones? And I was just wondering, why were they successful?
Honestly, it was really hard to find resources. We'd find out about food banks and we'd go there, but can't carry much, can't store much in a hotel room. Yeah, UCAN couldn't help us. We went there a few times and they're like, you don't meet the criteria for our funding. So really, there weren't a lot of resources to help us, so we didn't find any that worked really well. We just ended up finding a place to live. And my mom got a job at Hassel, which I think was a really big help. They did have some resources for her, so I think that was the biggest step, was once she got that job. Hassel, yeah, I would say Hassel helped us the most.
I just wanted to, you mentioned, is there a center somewhere where people can go? So there is an effort underway on the Valerie office to create a navigation center community-wide. Community-wide navigation. And at some point, there's going to need to be political willpower to make that happen. And so that's where all of you could be involved. It's going to be in somebody's backyard. Somebody's going to be pissed off about it. That's going to happen. And we're going to have fun. But money is. There is an effort underway to create what would be a 24/7 navigation center, and then also a secondary office building where that would be during operation day, normal day operation hours where people go for that. The 24/7 navigation center would be a walk-in spot where you would also be a shelter for sleeping in. You could have pop-up boxes or things like that. So we have a plan underway for that. Whether it happens or not, but it's got to take everybody to work on it. Yes.
Thank you so much. And hopefully we're all encouraged to step up. and how great it is for you to be here.
And yes, I will second that and say thank you, you're a survivor. I mean, that's what the people need to hear, this is our story, the difficulties and then personal part that said, I appreciate your comment about school. I think sometimes people, you know, I was like, you're gonna run around and do all this. The reality it is, you're resilient. And that's what we're really trying to build, is resiliency. And rather than cover over, build that ability to take yourself out. And that's what people need to hear, is that story, because that's not what they see. They were the park, people on drugs, like you said, was help the people, you know, but not the regular people. And we're the really want to help. We hear it over and over and over again. Yes, we want to help those who need it. So, as many cities, we're working on trying to get something set in place, because what we've learned is that we don't have to set up to be successful, and we get out too soon behind it, and then you just get banned. So we really are working behind the scenes to try to get something and find the funding for it. It's my understanding that there might be funding in July. The state, because sadly, none of the city does not have the money. We need to fund our police right now. I mean, and that's a whole other issue. But we're working on it, and I want you to know that. So, you know, I'd love to get a part of something like you can just like the people need to go and say, yes, these are the people that we want to help. And this is the problem they have. I'm gonna go back to Steve and his poverty simulation. I mean, that's such a powerful experience to realize how if you want to help us broken up and scattered everything there. There's not enough resources to know where to go, how to beat that person. And you just run in circles, which is costing money and you don't have. And so I think this is a story that people out there need to hear. So I would love to help you, know where to go and navigate in terms of letting some of those people know and hear the story.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you for sharing your story. Difficult. I just had no question. In this part of your experience, did you have a real concern for your difficulties of people where threatening, where
So, yeah, there was something going around where someone said something to someone and someone thought I was a prostitute. So while I was staying at one of the motels, I actually got cornered and was almost sexually assaulted. I'm thankful for my parents for coming around the corner and seeing that, but this guy would not leave me alone. We had to call the cops. He would come knock on the door. It was very scary, and that was one of the worst situations. Yeah, he would follow us around. It was bad. It was bad. Okay, so yeah, there were a couple other like smaller instances where I was a little scared people were following me while my parents were out trying to find the next hotel, and I was sitting with all their stuff beside the road. It didn't happen too often, thankfully, but it was definitely scary sometimes.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. And just for those of you that might be interested, I am at the poverty simulation at Rural Community College on June 2nd. From about 9 till about 1 p.m. Finish up with lunch. It's going to be the speak on the fairgrounds. Right now, there's about 44 people signed up for it. There's room for 110. So the closer we can get to 110, makes it better. It really does. Your story is so much more powerful than poverty simulation because yours is not a simulation. It really happened. But simulation does give you a very accurate feeling of what it's like to poverty, homelessness. And so it's to encourage people to sign up. And I was signing up, I just 1 hour ago, I got a call from DHS. And they're interested in doing a poverty elimination, for Rotary, so we kind of do that.
Anyone on Zoom have any questions?
I think a poverty simulation at the very least should be required, for maybe government officials and community leaders of some type of thing. They're not in the same, so that Valerie knows and a lot of people know about the problem. And understand that, but there's so many that don't understand, so. Anyway.
I don't want to sound too flippant, but probably nobody knows the situation better than you people know. And you have found your way out of it. So I would like to throw out there that perhaps you can help lead a group or lead a movement. So that we can get the word out and help make the difference that we need to make. I know there's a woman working with the homeless in the park who shared a little bit about her background. She was someone that had an alcohol problem and was not the most savory person. And somehow she got the grace to go out and help the people. And was probably doing more than a lot of people are doing because know the situation. So I would love to see you out there. It's so empowering and gives meaning to what's happened to you rather than being a dark spot in your life. It can be a bright light that shines that you can continue shining. So thank you so much for sharing.
I'm not gonna film myself because I'm filming everybody else. I just wanted to mention that, these wonderful ladies also brought along a video that I could tell was important to them. It's a 17-minute long video, so we're not gonna have the time to show it here today. But I do have a copy of it, and I think it's something that I can distribute. That I can get some tributes, and I'll figure that out. But we'll figure out how to get that to everybody because I could tell how much it meant to them. And I really think that it will help continue to share the story of people that they work with and of their friends. So that's the thing that I want to, so that everybody know is something that will be covered your wisdom. I'm going to turn it back over to you in case you don't have context.
Just for a little context, the video is someone who's currently experiencing it and her viewpoint and what she's trying to do to get herself into a better situation. And she did share her struggle with what she's trying to do. She's been working with Haskell to try and get everything lined up so that she can get off the street. But it's her perspective. And we can confidential about it. She was very sensitive about it. We tried all over the place to find other speakers. No one was wanting to come out here because of the way they treated in the community while they were homeless. They're afraid. They don't want to backlash. But everyone is on their stories, which is why it's only my family. But we're hoping by doing this, it will heal us. And thank you all for having us.
Wow, thank you guys so much. All right, I want to be cognizant of the time and folks who need to get back, so I'll let you guys all know that next week, we have the Four-Way Community Foundation, our very own Kate Dwyer will be coming to present, and I think we'll hear about some of the amazing projects that they've been funding this year, which is exciting. And then I will leave you with the thought of the day, and if anybody wants to stay and do happy bucks, I think we can for folks who want to stay a little bit longer, but for folks who need to get back. The thought of the day, today is the 43rd anniversary of the Mount St. Helens eruption. Crazy. And so I found a quote from Steve Olson, who wrote a book called Eruption, The Untold Story of Mount St. Helens. And I thought this was really insightful. The world is impermanent. The eruption of Mount St. Helens showed how quickly and drastically things can change. Yet we still can be good stewards of the things we love. Right? Thank you very much, and I hope we will see you all next week.